Your hobbies are important for your growth as a person. They aren't simply a way to pass the time, but your hobbies can help you build focus, train you to follow through your commitments, and over time, build a strong and disciplined character. There is no shortage of hobbies to choose from: sports, video games, reading, dancing, singing, and the list goes on. And while every hobby has its own value, I would recommend that you should choose art. And with art, I mean drawing and painting. But here's the problem. Out of all the hobbies out there, art is probably the hardest to sell. People find it boring, specifically in the beginning. And it's not hard to see why when you compare it to something like video games. Video games are designed to be fun from the moment you pick up the controller. They deliver the dopamine hit your brain is constantly craving, and they do it effortlessly. You don't even need to be good at them to enjoy them. You can sink hours into getting better at a video game and never once feel like stopping, because the process itself feels rewarding every step of the way. Reading is much the same way. Once you crack open a good book and find yourself drawn into the story, there is no putting it down. You grow attached to the characters, you get lost in the world the author has built, and there is always that burning need to know what happens next. The story pulls you forward on its own, but drawing and painting won't give you the same kind of enjoyment, especially if you are starting from the beginning. Art is one of those skills that takes time to get satisfying results, and being bad at drawing doesn't help either, because making bad art is simply not fun, except if you are a kid. Kids don't care about bad art, they just love putting colors on paper. I would say art is the first hobby that most humans learn. The moment you reach an age when you can grab a pencil and scribble, your parents buy you crayons, markers, and coloring books. And kids really enjoy that because it is one of the best ways for them to express themselves. But then something happens as they grow up. They start moving away from art. Studies become much more important for them, and their hobbies shift towards sports and video games. At this stage, what's the point of making art anymore? They can express themselves in other ways like talking and posting on social media, and it just takes so much time to get good at this stuff. Time that they can spend on other things like studying or playing with their friends. And now you are an adult, and with adulthood comes insecurities. You are insecure about being bad at art. Even if you like consuming art, the idea of making it yourself doesn't interest you. Not because you are not interested in becoming an artist, but because why would anyone care about your art? What if people laugh at it? And there is just so much that you need to learn to get good. A lot of people believe that they need to have some creative talent to become an artist. It doesn't matter how much they try, they will never be good, which is a very stupid thing to say. You do not need talent to get good at anything. 99% of all artists were once talentless, just like you. They didn't start as a great artist. Nobody did. I would say I am a decent artist today, but if you were to look at my first few artworks, you would realize it's not about talent. And you don't even need to be good at art to actually do something with it. One of the biggest examples of that is a manga artist named One, who is the author of two of the most popular manga series called One Punch Man and Mob Psycho. And if you look at his artworks, you can see that he wasn't very good at it. His shapes are weird and his line art is very messy. And it looks like someone who is not very good at drawing. And most people with this kind of skill would be quite insecure about showing it to other people. And if One had acted the same way, he wouldn't have become as successful as it did. Now, one thing that separates art from any other hobby is that it teaches you to see the world better. Most people go through life looking at things without truly seeing them. You glance at a face, a tree, a ray of light cutting through a window, and your brain registers it, labels it, and moves on. But when you start making art, that changes completely. Learning to draw and paint forces you to slow down and really observe. You start noticing things you never paid attention to before. The way sunlight doesn't just make things brighter, but actually shifts their color. The way a shadow is never just gray or black, but carries hints of blue, purple, or green, depending on the environment. The way a person's face tells a whole story in its shape and proportions. And the beautiful thing is that this way of seeing doesn't switch off when you put down the pencil. It becomes a part of how you experience the world every single day. A sunset becomes more than just a sunset. A crowded street becomes a composition of shapes, colors, and light. Ordinary moments start to look extraordinary because you have trained your eye to find the beauty hidden inside them. In a way, art doesn't just teach you how to make things. It teaches you to appreciate the world more deeply, which in turn improves the quality of your life. In the end, I would like to say that if you are young and you still enjoy making art, then my advice to you would be to never give it up. Keep making art and keep improving. Because once you have left it behind, it's gonna be very difficult to get back into it. And I'm telling you this from experience. I remember the time when I was very passionate about making art. I loved doing it more than anything else. But then I stopped because I had studies and I didn't see any point in continuing to make art. And after years, when I tried to get back into it, it just didn't feel the same. The passion was gone and it felt like I was starting from the beginning. It was difficult and I was not really enjoying it because I didn't like my art. I was bad at it. But I still decided that I want to keep going because there was a time when I used to love it. And it's never gonna be the same as it used to be, but today I genuinely enjoy making art again. Every time I see a successful artwork, it gives me that dopamine that pushes me to make more art. And that's it for this video. See you in the next one. Goodbye.